They just want to set you up and then we're going to do it.
Okay. We're set the shows together.
Huh?
We're going to set the way. It's alright.
Well, go over.
Yeah.
No, go back that way.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Nick Rocks, over the side.
Nick Rocks, ready to go. Nick Rocks.
I was waiting for
Yeah,
more
she
countdown.
melted it.
Are you doing it?
What are you doing? What are you doing all this for?
Just go, it's rolling.
Okay.
Described as every girl's dream, but like all of us, they still suffer from everyday ailments.
I've got another cold. I've managed to come to a lovely hot country and I've got another cold. I don't know how I manage it.
Well, who created the image?
The image is just us. It's not a creation. It's
not
just
really
there.
Nasty ailment again.
Well, the sore throat's okay. The nose is a little bit bunged up, if you might be able to hear. I just seem to have a terrible habit of catching colds lately. And whenever I strain my voice...
A boy with a weak constitution.
Yeah, it's not fair.
Do you bitch between yourselves?
What, us two?
Yeah.
Constantly.
No, not at all. I mean, I don't think there's anything to bitch about. We're both in very good situations. We've got nothing to moan about.
So away from the gloss and the glamour, what kind of lifestyles do you lead?
Pretty boring ones. Pretty boring.
Generally, isn't it? We own up all the time.
Yeah, and you haven't been all that kindly handled by the critics, have you?
Not the music critics.
Only the public like it. It's the usual syndrome. But I mean, why do you think the critics are inimical to you? Why do you think they give you so much stick?
I think it's exactly that. I think it's because we do own up to everything that we do. We're very honest about how we market ourselves. We're probably the only band at the moment who are totally unashamed of being screamed at. And I think it's like we do everything that everyone else does, only everyone else is very, very subtly camouflaging the ways of selling themselves. And we just think, you know, there's no reason that you don't have to... It's not insulting your public to do it and to tell them you're doing it because they enjoy it just the same way. I mean, marketing is marketing and image is image. No one thinks that's really us. I think deep down, I don't think anybody thinks that we're what we portray ourselves to be in our videos or anything. But because we make it so obvious that we're mucking about, I think people that we like blow other people's cover, and it's irritating.
I can't wait to see you. Why don't you come here no more? People think you're faulty, baby. You're the fish face I adore. I can't wait to see you. あいつを耳一つリード。えへん、ハイポジション。ハイビームサウンド。マクセル UD2
Do you find girls a great inspiration? I mean, are lots of your songs written about girls?
Of course.
Are they written about actual girls?
I mean, in particular, yeah, of course. Any one relationship you have has to be in the inspiration for a song. You can't write a song about, like, unless you're writing "To all the girls I've loved before" or something like that. It's like it's got to be, got to take one relationship and write about that one person.
So you're writing all these steamy songs at the moment.
They're all for you. They're all for you.
Oh, true.
I'm one of these people that went through one of those incredibly unfortunate periods called puberty, you know, where basically, like, my face exploded, and I also, as a child, I wore very thick glasses and was very overweight, all the best things you can possibly be, and I just generally didn't have a clue. I mean, I was one of those kids that never didn't even see a mirror until I was about 13, and by that time it was too late. I was right bang in the middle of the spots and the hair and everything. So I just basically had this. I had given up on the idea of girls until I was about 15, and then when I was about 15, I suppose my hormones calmed down a bit, and I was very shy, but girls actually, you know, initiated relationships, kind of thing. So I was all right from then on. But you know, whenever you see a bad picture of yourself, well, whenever I see a bad picture of myself, that 13-year-old comes flooding back, you know, waddling along. And then when I was about 7, I went for one of the regular eye tests, and you know, you get one of those cards with all the dots on, and you're supposed to see 56, and I could see 27. You know, one of those ones. If you see the wrong numbers, then you've definitely got something wrong with your vision. And I'm just slightly red-green colourblind. So, you know, I think I'm wearing blue, like a deep yellow. And it's not that bad. It's just that you cannot. When you're red-green colourblind, red and green are fairly important colours to people who try to wave down planes and things like that. And I think they told me that being a pilot was definitely out. So I gave up on that. And that was about the same time that my mother and father bought me a radio, and basically all my other interests just disappeared once I had that radio.
But did they regret that until you became a star? They had other hopes for you, of course.
I was exhausted. This was supposed to be a day off, but, you know, I thought, good cause. Now I come.
Hear about it?
Through the management, they told me that Bob was getting the thing together, and it seemed a really great idea. So I didn't actually know it was going to be quite such a big do. I didn't know quite so many people were coming, but the more the better. I recorded most of it in Denmark, and some of it in London. And some of the musicians were people who were previously on Wham albums, namely Dion Estes, who's a bass player, and Hugh Burns, who's a guitar player. And most of the rest of the album I played myself, with the exception of some keyboard parts that were played by a new player called Chris Cameron, who's very good.
What about touring?
I'm touring as of next February. I start the tour in Japan, and I work my way from Japan to Australia, then here to Europe, where I'll be playing here in Holland and surrounding countries, and then England, and then finally America.
When Wham stopped, you wanted to shake off your teenage image. Do you think that you are more professional now?
I would hope so. I mean, one of the things that I can't do anything about is that I'm...
This week it was George Michael's turn.
It really wasn't, oh, well, let's do what everyone else is doing out in Japan. It just happened by accident.
But a happy accident it was. Even as George was arriving in Japan, across town at the Budokan Theater, the faithful were snapping up merchandise. The luckiest fans had to be MTV Japan's contest winners, who told us where they were headed. Before the concert, they were backstage. They met their man, had their picture taken, and then it was showtime. George's first concert ever as a solo artist.
I've always believed that live performance was probably just as much. We'll work out the chords, Theo, and then you can look about with it. It's all played the same chords.
And I got that on video. I know, that was good. Great. That's in the movie. The making of. The making of Dion Estes.
You still filming?
Yeah,
Just running?
Yeah, it's just running.
I like the way he puts the camera on, then he comes over and shows it. It's because I believe I am a writer much more than I am anything else. Definitely for the first album, I didn't even believe that I would ever make a decent singer, although I had belief as a writer then. The second album, I started to believe in myself as a singer, and I think it showed because the two albums sounded very different vocally. But I think at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I do. I don't believe that I am important as a pop star. I don't think that there are many people that are important as pop stars in the sense that they used to be. I don't believe that I will leave a great mark as an entity, you know. I think I'm more realistic than that. I do believe now that I'm a lot better singer than I ever thought I would be. But at the end of the day, I want to leave something as a writer. And I think to have a passion or to have something that drives you on through life in a creative sense, most of us want to leave something, want to have something that will be remembered without, you know, without people really having to search in their memory. A desert road from Vegas to nowhere, someplace better than where you've been. A coffee machine that needs some fixing, in a little cafe just around the bend. Can't you hear me?
Because Darling and I are doing the same note, so we trade.
Who's doing the roots? Who's doing the...
We are.
Oh, you're thinking, man.
Darling and I.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that. Roots. We call it melody.
Really?
I like roots.
I like the roots.
I like the roots.
Sounds like a word you're familiar with.
Calm your nerves. Roots, okay. I can identify with that.
Do you want to give us a... And I'll give you... No, I won't. I can't even do 4, 3, 2, 1. I go now.
Yeah. Time.
This is a nice place.
Nice studio, isn't it?
Yes.
It's nice to be able to see out.
Gorgeous. Yep.
Hi, I'd just like to say thank you very much for this award. I appreciate it, and I'm sorry I can't be there at the Albert Hall to accept it, but I'm working at the moment on rehearsals in LA with my band. I'd also like to say thank you very much to everybody who's bought the album over the last couple of months, and I guess I'll see you wherever you are on that tour sometime between now and October. Also, I'd like to say hello to my mum and dad, and I'll see you in Australia. Thank you very much. Bye.
Last time I got an award like this, a major award from publishers, I was, I think, about 20 years old, and I made the slight mistake of crying in front of everybody. I'm 28 years old now, so I'm all grown up and I don't cry anymore, but it still means a lot to me to be acknowledged by fellow writers and publishers. I'd like to say thank you to everybody at ASCAP and to everybody who handles my music around the world. And I hope it's not the last. Thank you very much.
I mean, to be honest with you, I probably could have had, but what can I tell you? I was stupid. It was a stupid thing to do. I've never been able to turn down a free meal. And really, you know, I think there's nothing more to it than that. It was a moment. It was a moment of. It was a stupid thing to do, a stupid moment, and I guess the risk was part of the excitement, I guess.
Yeah.
But I certainly had no clue. I mean, people have said things to me like, you know, surely you knew, or surely, you know, how could you possibly have been so stupid? But I'm sorry, you know, the fact is there was absolutely no one else in the vicinity, whatever the police arrest report says. There was no one else in the vicinity. It was just me. Well, actually, it was 2 undercover cops, only I couldn't see one of them.
Right.
And 2 undercover cops and a Randy pop star. You know what I'm saying? There was no one there. So how could... I mean, if someone's... I'm here for a wedding. No. Huh? We should go because it's starting to build up. Okay, thank you. I'm here with my homies.
Great. Excellent. You will not look again.
Thank you. Whose knickers are those? Well, she must be very unattractive. They're practically wife fronts. She says I can keep them.
Not another drug in life that I'm glad I took, but grass. I think my life might be somewhere else if I'd chosen another avenue. Alcohol, for instance, than Christ. If I drank as much as I've smoked, my God. I'd look like Keith Richards. I think I've probably got less gay fans. Gay fans are only interested when they think you're in the closet. Once you're out, they don't give a toss. I promise you. The only way I can not take any of those headlines seriously or not be driven mad by the fact that, you know, the law doesn't protect me from liars, all of this is worth it. All of it is worth it, because apart from the wonderful life I have at home, I still get to go to work every day and make my music, you know.
I actually prefer a more cozy, intimate look, but George likes everything modern and sweet.
I was going down for the third time.
If you ever think you're going to use this for anything,
George,
you're severely mistaken.
George?
Well, like a victim, sick from the same disease. Look at your big fat daddy and your mom. And your mom was always acting crazy.
You guys?
Hello, Kenny. How you doing, buddy? Hey there.
Hey there.
Hey there. Hello, George.
Mr. Michael,
We're on the road again.
I guess the Cupid was in disguise. The day you walked in changed my life. I think it's amazing the way that love can set you free.
Living the dream again for a day.
Yeah, very briefly.
What did I do wrong? How about this stuffed wardrobe that put me back in the
Pitch an autograph for.
Not in the fat suit. I've told you, not in the fat suit. It's stuck. How bloody useless is that? If that's going to work on me.
What's that?
They moved my clock back 20 minutes. Forward 20 minutes. Forward. As if that's going to bloody work. Brown just blew it because he told me it was 5 to 7. You know, fuck off.
Down. To the left?
To the left first.
To the
left. Right. Okay.
What was our order again?
This little light can't nobody amen.
Okay.
Okay?
In some ways, and he's ever present in the fact that I do not believe that if I hadn't met Anselmo when I did, and lost him when I did, I wouldn't have met Kenny. And Kenny's been with me for the past 8 years. My relationship with Anselmo, although very, very intense, was only 2 years. And I absolutely thank Anselmo for everything that changed about me. I thank him for opening me up to my own sexuality. I thank him for teaching me huge lessons about love and death at a point where I probably needed to learn them, you know, all kinds of things. You know, you can't, I'm very happy with where I am today. It's been a very difficult road, but I thank everyone that's involved in getting me emotionally to where I am today, because I would never have imagined that at 20 or 25, I would have never imagined that I could be this person. You know?
And speaking of Kenny, the Texas Geezer's got a track on the record.
George, please, autograph, please. Can you write to Marcus, please? Marcus with C.
Do you enjoy your show?
Yes, thanks.
Had a great time, actually. What's your name?
Manuela.
And we're late for our plane, so I'm afraid I have to get away.
George, where are you going now? That's our photo. Thank you. Okay.
I'm just being pointed, they tell me. They don't tell me what I'm doing next.
To appear before the people in Austria after your illness, and they looked after you.
Well, how many people get to serenade the people who saved their lives? You know, that's what I got to do, which was amazing. And in a way, it's what I'm doing to everybody here tonight. You know, I'm just so glad to still be here and be able to have a good time on stage and share my music with these people.
And briefly, tell me a little about the shows. You've gone really quite classical, quite orchestral.
It's very, yeah, well, it's basically, it's a kind of 50-50 mix of my own songs and other people's songs that I thought worked with orchestration. I've always wanted to sing with an orchestra, which is why I did the whole thing. It's why I you know, took on this venture. And it is amazing to sing with an orchestra. I don't know if I'll ever do it again, but it is an amazing, amazing feeling as a singer.
We're delighted you took the time to talk to us on Central tonight. George and Michael, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Have a good show.
Let's get George in.
Shit, I can't get in the right hand side, can I? I'm not allowed.
It's the first time the two of you have been in shot in your tracksuits together. That is golden right there. Absolutely golden.
There it is. The worry is that's what I look like in my head. In my head, I look this trim. Yeah. And yet, facts, you know,
and if you weren't standing there, I'd feel like a fat poof.
It's a bit homophobic.
I love it, George! James, do you ever think you'd be duetting with George to...
Oh, it's a dream come true. Genuinely.
For me, too, yeah.
What do you think of James' voice?
Although we did...
And you recorded your very famous album, Faith,
Yeah,
in the Brook
Faith.
Studios here in Dublin.
That's right, yeah.
What do you think about Denmark?
Lovely people, lots of trees, lovely people. Just feels very. Two things I remember feeling, especially during Faith, was one how pleasant everyone was, and two how safe it felt compared to London. You know.
In the breaks of this tour, I understand that you're recording a new album, which is very different from the Symphonica tour. It's modern dance music. How do you combine the two?
Well, the thing is, I'm interested in the two. You know what I'm saying? I've always had. I mean, I think I'm pretty well known for there being a fairly even balance in my successes in terms of ballads and up-tempo songs, and so that's kept my kind of lyric writing, the lyric writing element of what I do